Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Dream Drop Long Distance, a podcast with two friends currently bridging a 3,000-mile gap with the game series Kingdom Hearts. My name is Mitchell Orsino, and my co-host is Kyle Bradshaw. What's up, Kyle?
You know, man, it has been an interesting week, but I'm really excited to dive into where we left off, into a brand new magical world.
Ooh, yeah, I'm super excited about this one. I think you called it, but I think we both kind of expected this level to come out because we knew it was getting close to one of the final ones.
Yeah, there aren't any more Disney Worlds after this one.
No, all kind of, I guess, I don't know if the last one is actually Final Fantasy, but
No, it's actually got its own whole lore, and we can get into that probably 3 games from now.
yeah. But so I guess let's jump in because the next world that we're going to is Neverland.
Yes, indeed it is. We're going to Neverland, not Neverland Ranch, but just plain old Neverland. Peter Pan, creepy Peter Pan.
My first reaction to this world always cracks me up because it's basically split in a perfect 180 where the top half of the world just shows you buildings with big bins sticking out of it. And the bottom half is just what looks like water with a pirate ship.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the world from that view yet. So
oh, really?
About that?
That's funny.
Yeah, I haven't gone back to orbit, as it were, from landing.
Gotcha. Okay, I was like, how did you not see it? But yeah, that is one of the funnier ones. Like I said, outside of, I feel like Atlantica, when I saw it, where I was like, why does this just look like a fish bowl? But anyway, yes, this is the Peter. Or I guess you go ahead and describe it. I feel like I jumped in on one of the last ones.
Yeah, so I really want to dive in on how you get into this world. Because you're just like when Monstro comes and swallows you up, here you're flying to what you think is the next world, and suddenly you're rammed by a pirate ship.
Some of the ways that these villains or areas get you into the spaces. Monstro, okay, giant space whale, whatever, he ate you, funny. How is Hook just traveling around on a pirate ship?
In space.
Yeah,
not just a pirate ship, but a pirate ship in space. How did you get from that point, the ship being in space, to the next scene opens up and you're on the ocean?
Yeah, I mean, you're somehow I guess you wind up in the ocean, and I think you're on the deck with them, and you're trying to figure out like what's happened, and it's like a whole walking the plank scene and all this goofy stuff.
Yeah, I think the scene opens with Riku, right?
It does. It actually does. I think, what is it? It goes in on Riku talking about how he has more control over the Heartless there, and Hook gives him the whole spiel of like, you best not trust them too much, lad, blah, 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 blah. You know, kind of giving him the whole same spiel Maleficent did. But it feels like Riku now is starting to realize that if he has control over the Heartless, he's got definitely an ego. It's starting to build up in terms of the power that he has at hand.
Yeah. What I see is the Heartless obey me now, Sora. Now I have nothing to fear.
Which is so funny because I guess, and you think about it also, he's still a kid.
Yeah, so like, what was he afraid of before?
Yeah, and especially because I feel like Maleficent keeps hammering on the fact, telling him like, these things are a tool, but they will eat you alive if you let them. But he's starting to kind of do the same thing I'm seeing a lot of these villains doing, where they're not heeding that warning, and they wind up getting bit in the ass with it right afterwards.
Yeah, which I think that's why they showed it so many times before this point, to show you like, hey, your friend is about to go through the same thing. What are you going to do? To which Sora's answer is apparently to yell, "You're stupid." I hate that line so much.
It's so, their dialogue together, like you could tell Sora has just stopped. Like he is now not caring. And he's just like, Riku, like you're getting too far gone, man. Like I'm about getting tired of this. But this is also the first time that because Riku does step to the side at one point and shows him that, Kairi is there. Like he's finally found Kairi's body.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not dead though, right?
Right. She's they're trying to find her heart. That's been his goal for the last little bit now, is to get Kairi's heart back.
Yeah. So like you said, it's not that she's dead. She's just in kind of like, I guess the heart is like the soul baby so far that we know of in this game. And so it's kind of like her soul is somewhere else. And so she's kind of more of like a husk. She's just like chilling there. And so, it seems like Riku is just kind of wandering with her until he can figure out how to get her heart back.
Yeah. I just don't understand how Sora plays into Riku's plan at this point. Like, he's monologuing and it's super cool, and I'm glad for the story exposition. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Sora's more trouble than he's worth for Riku right now.
I completely agree. And I feel like, especially now that he's found Kairi, the way I see Riku playing this is Sora has not helped with this at all. He's been running around with these silly looking creatures. Mm-hmm. And now all really Sora is an obstacle for him.
Yeah, but he's still definitely doing it on purpose. Like he prepared a way to create this anti-Sora right in front of his eyes.
Which we have to talk about that because Kyle, describe what the anti-Sora is.
Anti-Sora is basically if Sora was turned, or like literally became a shadow, heartless, like how he can go into the floor, he's all blacked out everything, but other than that, he's kind of, it's still distinctively Sora. There's no mistaking it. It's just Sora but blacked out.
Yeah, he uses a Keyblade, and basically he's just whacking you with anything that you have physically, except for abilities. It's not a complete copy of you, but physically it is Sora.
Just having that presented in front of you, like, oh, snap, what is that? That was cool to like have foreshadow the boss in that way.
It was very cool. I like that a lot. And then, then we wind up going
into a dog pile. I loved that scene.
That was really funny. And then, you get transported down into the hold. You manage to break yourself out with the help of Tink, which I thought was pretty funny because Peter's like, oh, come on, Tink, we got to save Wendy. And she's just like, oh, well, if that's the case, your ass is staying in here. Never mind. And I think it was Donald. Yeah, it was Donald. Yeah. He was like, oh, she looks jealous. And then Tink looks at him and he just grabs his bill like, I didn't say anything. Don't kick me in the face again. Yeah,
she really kicked the hell out of him. It was so funny.
People like Tink. Tink's she could be a little monster, man. So that was a funny little exposition. They wind up getting out, and Peter's like, we got to save Wendy. Like, it's all we need to do. And of course, they're like, well, we got to save Kairi. So maybe we can kind of meet in the middle here. And you tell me. So I remember, as I'm playing this, the fights start to break out. You're going around the inside of the interior of the ship. Mm-hmm. And you wind up in what is Hook's main quarters in his cabin.
Right. And yeah, that is where the anti-Sora fight properly takes place.
What did you think of the fight?
It was not as hard as I remember it being, because I remember getting my ass kicked over and over and over again on this fight, just beating my head against it. This was not a fun fight when I was young, but it was still hard today. Like that fight, Anti-Sora hits like a truck. And the gimmick that he does with going into the floor and then creating clones, I enjoyed that because at least it was solvable because you could just use target lock and find the one that has health. Mm-hmm. But that was tricky, man. It was not a fun fight. I did not get through it on my first try.
I understood the gimmick, but it was finding the proper build to be able to counter a lot of the things he did, because late stage fight by about his last health bar. I don't know if you saw there, you had this happen. He started to do the very quick, like into the floor, pop out, and his hit would actually cause an explosion.
Yep. And you can't hit him during that phase either. There's just nothing you can do.
You just had to. So I would just dodge around the entire time for a minute or two. and then pot shot him and dodge around. But it was just trying to survive up to that point. I burned through quite a few mega potions and elixirs trying to keep my team up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I actually took I brought Donald down to about 5 MP and then equipped him with defensive buffs because he just would not stay up. It was like every other hit he was dead, and so he was doing me nothing with the current build that I had. And well, after the adjustment, things like that, he wasn't too bad. I think that only once I equipped that, or once I built him out, gave Goofy a slightly more aggressive build. And then I think I wound up switching from the Pumpkinhead Keyblade, and then I switched to the Crab Claw. That actually was a good call.
Interesting. What did that do for you? What was the point of what did that change for you?
Crab Claw, I know it has the ability. It only adds 1 MP, which helped me with my healing, and then also it has a higher chance of critting. And so once that happened, then I noticed I was able to do a bit more damage over time, and that saved a lot, especially during, like I said, those late stage fights where pot shotting him in between his invulnerable states was very critical.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
Question, did you use Peter Pan or did you stick to the 3?
I did bring Peter Pan. I swapped out Goofy and brought Peter Pan in. That's almost always what I do, but it was especially useful here. He's got some strong moves. The way that he just like goes in for his stab.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty useful. Pretty useful. And I just like having one magic, one physical with me. And Peter Pan worked pretty well. As much as I hate looking at him because his model is just weird looking.
It is. It looks creepy. He looks very. He just looks odd. Like his little smile and stuff is weird. He just looks like he has done some shady shit.
His eyes, his mouth, yeah, just all of it. It's the whole everything. His voice. But he ended up working out for me. What did you not bring Peter Pan?
I still have yet to actually use any of the game's PC characters.
Wow, that's disappointing.
I don't know, man. I started not use them. I feel like I've used every one once I've gotten to the worlds, and then it's thrown my rhythm off so much that I'm just like, I just got to get Donald and Goofy back. And honestly, I've loved it. Like I really do enjoy having this team, and so I don't feel like I've missed not having the other ones.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. I feel like, so I was curious because I know we've had different experiences in that way, because I tried Tarzan, didn't really like him. The only one I've actually played with for quite a minute in the level was Jack, because I love Jack Skellington.
And he's so scary tall. Like, oh my God, he's 3 times Donald's height or something like that.
It's hilarious watching those two together.
Exactly.
No, I did, but I played with him for quite a bit. I think I wound up switching back to Goofy before I went to fight Oogie Boogie. And that was it. And then I was like, I want to have my team for this. And I wound up being a breeze.
Man, I don't end up relying on my teammates enough for that to be useful. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I guess because I'm more of a melee build, and it's all about like getting in their face. I do count on my team quite a bit, especially like Donald is very much like my white mage mixed with a bit of offensive ability, and Goofy is very much like, I'll get behind him during a fight. Like if I have to bounce back, I will call him up to fight and then jump back, and then expect him to be able to hold them down just long enough for me to, pop off a Curaga or Cura or whatever thing is called.
We don't even have that yet. I mean, we do at the end of this, but we don't have that for the the anti-Sora fight.
I guess it is. Yeah, that's what it is. I was trying to think when we got it, but yes, it is right after this fight. Well, okay, so it sounds like we both, we had a little trouble with him, but we wound up beating him.
Yeah, and at this moment, right after that fight, is one of my favorite moments of this world, and that's opening the chest at the foot of Hook's bed. That sick bastard had puppies in a box at the foot of his bed.
I know. So for anybody wondering, Kyle messaged me earlier today, and I'm gonna just for fun, I'm going to quote this because you told me reminds me of my favorite thing I want to talk to you about from Neverland, but I'm saving it for when the mics are on. And I had a feeling it had something to do because I remember also opening that chest and just being like, Hook, you sick. Like, people talk about Cruella being fucked up. My dude, you were just sitting, you were sleeping there with them.
All he had to do was open the box and they'd just go free, apparently. I don't know. Just like a box of puppies at the foot of his bed.
Yeah, just chilling. I guess, I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny too. I was like, wow. I was like, that's kind of dark for this game. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I guess maybe kids not, but like if you're an adult, you're like, ooh, we just kept Dalmatian puppies in a crate down here. Cool. But once you get past that little bit of trauma, you actually go into another room and you find Wendy on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to bring up this. So Peter actually, he goes up to her and she wakes up, checks on her, everything's fine. But then he's like, well, this is the end of the road for me. Like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? We helped you get Wendy. Now you have to help us get Kyrie. And he's just like, nah, I'm going to get out of here. It's like, Peter, you fuck boy. And he just takes off and you don't even get the ability to put him in your party anymore, which is, again, I didn't play with him, but I was like, I'd have been pissed if I had him in my party up to this. And then he just bounced after us saving Wendy.
Exactly what happened to me, yeah.
Who has done nothing in this game so far.
Yeah, no explanation of who she is, why she's here, nothing. You're just supposed to know Peter Pan lore for this one.
Which, yet again, is what in past conversations we've talked about. This game, it doesn't really give you quite enough in terms of the storylines.
They try in some of the worlds, but not this one, man.
No, this one was very shallow. Or I say shallow, like storyline wise. They were. Mm-hmm. It's about as loose as you can get with the Peter Pan lore, and then it's just setting up a lot of stuff with Riku, Kyrie, and Sora. But anyway, so Peter bounces out. And it's like, cool, thanks, Pete. And you wind up back on the deck where I don't remember exactly what's happening. I think it's the cutscene. It's a cutscene where Hook is explaining to Smee about the Heartless and about how Riku is this like codfish who he shouldn't be trusting.
Yeah, he's Hook's upset because Wendy isn't one of the princesses.
That's what it was.
He was trying to get Riku to just take Wendy just because that would piss off Peter Pan. But now he's just got Peter Pan's girl for no reason, which is just bringing trouble onto his ship.
Yeah, which I'm with Hook. I don't blame him. I'd be pissed too.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody's like, oh, you need to kidnap, go out of the way to kidnap this girl to do this whole thing. And it's like, oh, well, never mind. She's not one of them. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah. And he's going on this whole rant, if I'm remembering correctly. He's going on this whole rant while Sora is about to walk the gangplank.
Yeah, no, he did. He was about to walk. Well, before that,
these two scenes, I don't remember.
So there was that one, but it also that led into one of my favorite parts of the scene where we're introduced to what I like to call the crocodile.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is a crocodile from the Peter Pan story from the movie that Hook apparently, I forget exactly what the idea was. That it was
he lost his hand to that crocodile.
Yeah. Oh no, Peter cut his hand off, and the crocodile ate it, and somehow the crocodile ate an alarm clock. So the only way you can hear the crocodile coming is when he's close to you. You'll hear a ticking noise. The lore is what it is, people.
Right.
It's just got to be. And so that crocodile shows up and he freaks out. He's just like, oh, Smee, I can't do this. I have to go to my room. Like, you push these kids off the plank.
And Sora's just like, okay, I'll walk. Bye.
Well, he's like, okay, well, I'll walk. And then he hears that voice of Peter because earlier in the level, Tink covers them in pixie dust.
Yeah. They're covered in pixie dust. And they're not able to fly. Donald tries very hard, flaps, goes nowhere, even though he's a duck and should be able to fly. But we don't go there.
Donald didn't truly believe, Kyle.
Of course, yes. And then, as Sora's walking the plank, he hears the voice of Peter Pan saying, "Fly, Sora, just believe and you can do it." Even though that line of dialogue has never happened. So you're like, oh, where did Peter's voice come from? And then it's like, oh, He's here. Okay.
And he, after saying like, I'm going to bounce, he actually didn't. That was the contradicting bit to me, where he's like, I'm going to leave. And then he's just still there.
I think he left and came back. I think he brought Wendy somewhere safe, which means he flew all the way to London and back to Neverland.
In that small amount of time. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would track. I don't know. Whatever.
Depends on how fast it was, because it was not fast for me. I had to grind after that fight.
Oh, really? I didn't. I don't think I did. At least if I did, it wasn't much. But I do remember, that he shows back up, and then you wind up in a pretty, it was I thought it was a fun fight. You fight some slightly newer Heartless that have like an ability to fly around.
To match your own new ability to fly around.
You do in the Peter Pan world. Do you want to kind of describe how it works, Kyle?
It's just like swimming, but a little bit faster, a little floatier, but in a good way. I like it a lot, but it's the same square and circle, move you up and down. I can't remember which is which unless I'm holding the controller in my hand. I think square is up.
Square is drop, circle is up.
Well, shows what I know. Like I said, can only do it with the controller in my hand.
At a point, I got so tired of getting them mixed up. I just sat there and went square, circle, square, circle, square, circle.
Oh man. So yeah, it's a little floaty, but it feels nice, to be honest with you. I didn't mind fighting in the air as much as I minded it in the water.
Oh, I completely agree.
But it was still the same problem with the combos not working the same way. So my combo finisher, which lets me do MP scaling, does not work. So I'm relying pretty heavily on either my Keyblade strength or just magic in general.
Yeah, I definitely prefer it over the swimming mechanic from Atlantica. But I do agree. It's such a weird thing, especially when you've built up your character to be able to do these combos and have these abilities that benefit from ground type combat or even slightly, jumping air type combat, to having all that taken away from you and you can only do like 3 and 4 hit combos. It's not great.
Not cool. Not cool. So, but thankfully, at the very least, if you want to, you can just land on the ground and fight on the deck and you get your ground moves back, or basically your whole moveset back. You just can't do it while you're in the air. It's a nice compromise. I'll take it.
It is. It's a good compromise. The only thing that kind of sucks is whenever you get to which the only thing I can describe this Heartless as is a flying pirate ship with a tiny little man driving it.
Mm-hmm. Little captain on there.
Little captain on there. And I mean, it flies around. And if you do not go in the air with it, it actually will do little strafing bombing runs on you. And it's like, so you do have to fight some of these Heartless while flying. It just is what it is. You don't have to consistently do that, which is great. The real tricky bit is during like the Hook portion, which, you do a small amount of fighting, then Hook comes out because he hears this big ruckus and he jumps into the fight.
Yeah, Hook was hard. I actually did not win against Hook on the first try because he was doing, I want to say, more than half my health, or like right at half my health with that with some of his attacks.
Oh wow. Okay. See, when I built Donald and Goofy to be slightly more defensive and myself to be more melee build for the anti-Sora fight, I kept it for Hook and it actually worked almost the same.
I'll bet, yeah.
And so when I was fighting him, the first time I did it, I was like, oh, okay, they have the floating pirate ship Heartless. I feel like those are going to do more damage to me than Hook will if I don't pay attention to them. I'm going to take those guys out first. Let Donald and Goofy play with Hook if they want to. And I made the mistake of, I took out both the pirate ships. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to go after Hook. Started fighting Hook for a minute. My health was low. But what I didn't realize was the pirate ship shaped Heartless would respawn.
Yep.
And I backed up to heal. And all of a sudden a bomb fell on me. And I was like, what the hell was that? And I realized they were both back. And I was so mad because I just didn't know. But then on the second go through, I actually managed to take him out with not much effort. Like it was a pretty easy fight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of my favorite little details out of this, I don't know how many times I've done this fight and didn't notice it until this go around, but it happens anyway that if you hit Captain Hook off of the edge, he falls in and he jumps to get away, jumps really high in the air to get away from the crocodile, or the clocodile, as you put it. I noticed this time around, though, that he has a coyote moment, is how I put it in my notes, where he's just like kind of dangling in the air because he doesn't, and then he looks down and realizes that he can't fly and just falls.
Yep.
Like, for one, it's just funny in a cartoon way. It's just like, haha, he did the cartoon thing. But it's also real in a certain way, because in Neverland you can fly if you believe. So he was flying until he realized that he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I thought I remembered when he fought, he actually was flying around a bit, but it might have just been that animation and he was just flying that much. I was like, oh, Hook can fly.
No, he's just got this thing where he bounces from the water up to the mast.
That's really funny. Yeah, I didn't even, the animation for that, I just was like, oh, Hook just must have gotten a hold of pixie dust at some point. I didn't notice because it kind of made sense to me, but I don't know. Okay, well, that's really funny. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, so that's you get through that fight, which is, I mean, it was fun. It had its nice little bits. I liked the little presents that he threw, but it was just a pretty straightforward fight. Up beyond that, just to establish the flight mechanics for you more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You get through all that. Now it's this moment of realization for everybody around. Like, Goofy and Donald are both like realizing that there's probably no hope for Kairi at this point. It's really interesting in this moment that like even Goofy has lost hope that Kairi can be saved.
Yeah, him and Donald's both their eyes where they're just like, man, you might want to think about it.
And he's not even thinking about it at all. He's just like, I really flew. Wait till I tell Kairi.
I know.
First words out of his mouth. Like, wow.
It's like, oh, good God, Sora, you clueless kid. You could tell they're both just like, is that really what you're thinking about right now?
Yeah. So it's a somber moment, but it is delicately undercut by Sora's optimism. So I like the mood that the game designers were able to set with this.
I agree.
This world really began for me the feeling of Kingdom Hearts being a soap opera. Yeah. It's starting to get into the realm of the Kingdom Hearts that we know. Yes, like it's really clicking here. But you get that little hopeful scene out of the way. And out of nowhere, Tink sprinkles a little something in Peter's ear and it's like, what's that, Tink? We got to go to the clock tower. Okay, sure.
Because for some reason, Tink knows this.
Right. It's like, oh, we have to go to the clock tower? Well, okay, go to the clock tower. Don't know what that is or where it is, but we're going to go.
Yeah, you teleport to the UK.
Out of Neverland into the UK. And once you get there, there's no explanation of what you're supposed to do. I didn't have a trouble here because I remembered what I was supposed to do, but they don't tell you anything. They don't say, hey, look at the clock faces. That's funny. Or, oh, this one clock face is different from the others. You're just presented with a clock.
Yeah.
There's no treasure to get. There's one person to talk to, and they don't have anything too interesting to say, from what I recall.
You get there, and the only person there is Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I mean, she kind of is just like, thanks for saving me, blah, blah, blah. Like, and kind of saying, like, I hope that girl is going to be okay. Because she does wind up in a room with Kairi at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, they don't give you anything else. I think there is one chest that has some puppies in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, if there is, I missed it.
Because I did a trek around, and it's on like maybe the level above her, underneath this overhang, and I pretty vividly remember finding that. And yeah, it's all they don't tell you anything. I mean, it's kind of cool because you get to fly, or you get to do like the whole flying around Big Ben, seeing the like fake UK, but it's like, okay, well, where is this keyhole supposed to be? And then I don't know why I was like, oh, these are pretty clocks. And I've noticed 3 faces all said the same thing. And when I finally realized the 4th one, I was like, okay, wait, there's something wrong with this clock. Why is this off? And then I locked on, and it allowed me to hit the hand. And I was like, I got it. You got to fix the time.
And then suddenly the keyhole appears on the clock. You seal it.
Can we talk about how funny it is? Like, so everybody knows what Big Ben is. Big Ben is like the huge tower clock in London.
Or clock tower, if you prefer.
Or clock tower. You know, whatever you prefer. And so you'd think, okay, we opened up the heart of the world on this huge clock. This is probably a huge keyhole that like takes up the size of the clock face. No, it's pretty small. It's like half the size. It's probably about the size of Donald.
Yeah, they make it look cool. Make it look like it's part of the clock's design, sort of.
I thought it was I was like, could have done better. I've seen better stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. This world was not about the world. This world was solely used as a staging ground for Sora and Riku.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, this entire level was all about their relationship hitting a boiling point and starting to show you where each of them is about to be in a matter of another level or two, probably.
Yeah. With and the conflict over Kyrie, of course, to for one give hope because you hadn't really had hope for Kyrie up to this point, but also kind of dash those hopes because she looks like she's dead.
Yeah, I mean she definitely does. But yeah, so we get done with that, and that's kind of it for the world.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, they do expand a little bit. For one, they play another scene of young Sora and Riku. Or I should say, they continue the scene of young Sora and Riku, and it shows Riku wanting to get off the island and how desperately he wants to do it. He's like expressing that desire very strongly. The next thing you know, the two of them are walking off, and Riku turns around for a second to look at the door, which was just a blank piece of wood a minute ago. He looks at the door, and the keyhole is there.
I noticed the same thing. I was like, ooh, he can see it now.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, did he like will that into existence?
Part of me wants to say yes, just because it's like Clayton in Deep Jungle. His ambition to find and really shoot the gorillas invited the Heartless to Deep Jungle.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also some seeds that were planted a long time ago, which we'll get there one day.
Yeah, we definitely will.
There will be a time when we can play the game that explains that.
That'll be a minute. We get done with this level, and you probably get one of my new favorite keychains, the fairy harp.
Oh, what you like about it?
Man, it's slightly shorter keyblade. I actually went and tested it out on I think I went did like the Pegasus Cup real quick just to see how good it was. And so slightly shorter. It does give you an MP boost of MP +1, which I think is cool. But it does give a +4 critical bonus.
Ooh.
So it has a very good chance of dealing crits. I really enjoyed just the brief amount of time I used that sword. And again, I'm a melee build, and so anytime I can lay a crit, it actually was really fun to use that and go back in the Leon Yuffie fight at the end of the Pegasus Cup. It worked really well, so highly recommend. It's a very good keyblade.
Yeah, and at the same time that you get that keyblade, you're also given custody over Tinkerbell,
which I was kind of like, don't know, but I haven't used her. I honestly don't know what she does.
Yeah, I haven't tested her out in combat yet either. I'll have to get that. I haven't taken Dumbo out for a swing yet either. So
Dumbo, I actually used Dumbo in the fight with Anti-Sora, and he did a good job. I went through all of my summons against Anti-Sora in one fight, and I will say, so in order, most useful versus least useful. I would say most useful, Genie, Dumbo, Bambi, Simba.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Simba's abilities really do not benefit that fight at all. Genie was great because he basically is locked on and did Showtime, which works amazingly.
Especially when you only have one target like that, yeah.
Yeah, and in Dumbo, I thought was great because anytime Anti-Sora would try to run up on me to do his explosive attack, Dumbo would take a little bit of damage, but also what he does is he shoots out his water out of his trunk. It like hurts them, but also knocks them back. So you don't really have to worry about keep getting hit. And so I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I really enjoy using Dumbo.
I think my favorite part about getting Tinkerbell, though, was that the cutscene just ends with Sora looking over at Peter Pan and going, what? That's just where it ends.
Yeah, you can just take care of Tink. And he's like, wait, what?
What? And oh, God.
Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, I actually just looked it up just because I wanted to check. So Tinkerbell appears as a summon, But unlike other summons, party members remain on the battlefield while she's active, and she does not disappear after a set amount of time. When summoned, she remains at Sora's side, continuously healing the party akin to a regen status effect, as long as she is active, until she is missed or Sora loses all of his HP.
Yeah, Tinkerbell's one of the stronger ones.
Yeah, so she turns into your white mage for a minute. That is really handy.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the fairy, having a fairy in a bottle from Zelda.
Oh, yeah, that's really awesome. Okay, well, that is a good thing for us to have in the back pocket going into what I think is going to be the next set of fights.
Yeah, no kidding. There was a scene, actually. There was another scene that happened around this time, too. It just shows where Riku went, which we know where Riku went because, for one, Hook just told us. I don't get that one. Hook just blurted it out.
And he told us because he was like, I guess if we're going to talk about that cutscene, we might as well say the name.
Hollow Bastion.
Yep. Hook told us that Maleficent resides in a world called Hollow Bastion. We're not going to get into it because we haven't played it yet, but we do know that Riku is going there and big things are happening there.
Not just going there, he teleported there with the power of darkness.
Which, he's getting spooky.
Yeah. So that's crazy. The other thing that I think was interesting out of that scene where Riku teleported was that Maleficent, she talks about this loud roar that's heard in Hollow Bastion and says, though his world perished, his heart did not. When we took the princess from his castle, he apparently followed here through sheer force of will. So Maleficent took the princess from his castle and destroyed his world in the process. Maleficent is literally destroying worlds to get these princesses for whatever it is that she's doing.
And then we have to think about, she's talking about somebody roaring.
Right.
And it's like, so guessing here.
Who can it be?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Context clues wise, it's like Maleficent stole his princess.
Mm-hmm.
The guy roars.
Mm-hmm.
I can only take a stab at she's pissed off the beast.
Yes, indeed.
Which, very excited to see where that goes.
Maybe you'll actually change your party members this time.
Doubtful, but we'll see. We'll see. I actually remember Beast being a pretty good companion. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Leaving all of that behind, you go back into the gummy ship and you have to return to Leon because you have to return to Sid because you've gotten the second Navi-G piece.
The second little navigation gummy. So you do go to Sid and he's like, all right, give me a minute. I got to fix this thing. And there is a cutscene that happens right then.
Mm-hmm. I liked this one. I like this one a lot.
It was interesting. So in this instant, Sora hears a voice, Kyrie's voice, obviously. And he is kind of mentally teleported, almost like astral projected into this. You don't know if I guess it's the past or a scene where Kyrie is meeting with, was it her grandmother? I can't remember.
It doesn't say. We don't know who that woman is.
Yeah, and the woman goes into this whole thing about the hearts and keeping yourself strong and how the worlds are dependent on battling back the darkness, but even at the midst of all the most darkness, there's even a bit of light to bring you back. It's a pretty emotional dialogue that she's having with Kyrie, but also Sora being there is obviously for a reason.
Yeah. There's something that is trying to be revealed, which all it is just a whole bunch of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
They're trying to establish this both the combat of light and darkness, which is something that's been played on all throughout the game and will continue to be played on for years, if not decades to come. And I think the couple lines that really stood out to me in this whole thing were, but the true light sleeps deep within the darkness. That one is foreshadowing so hard, and I don't think I ever noticed how much it was foreshadowing until this playthrough.
Man, I won't even lie. I didn't remember this scene. Was this in the original game?
It was.
Really?
This
Okay.
no, this was in it. I remember
Huh.
being weirded out every single time I've done this moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a new, at least memory wise, that was a new one for me because I did not remember this.
Yeah, they're trying to use this to establish that, hey, this is where Kyrie's from. This place that you're seeing, because we know that Kyrie showed up on the Destiny Islands the night of a meteor shower or something.
Okay. I gotcha. Oh, well, there you go. That makes a whole lot more sense now.
Do you know where that world is?
I do not. I cannot tell you right offhand.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Yep. I wish I could tell you.
Interesting.
We'll get to it. We'll definitely get to it. So after that scene, Sora comes back, kind of snaps back to reality, and then there goes gravity.
I was waiting for it.
And I think Sora and Donald were kind of just like, "You good, dude?"
Yeah, Donald and Goofy. Yeah.
Or yes, Donald and Goofy. I apologize. And he kind of just like, "Yeah, I just saw something, but I don't know if it was real or not." And so I think he's trying to come to grips with what he just saw. By then, Sid comes back and he's like, "Oh, hey, I got your piece connected to the ship, blah, blah, blah." And it opens up the final world.
Which we don't know the name of yet. We haven't been.
We haven't.
I mean, we know where we're going.
Yeah, it's just that they have, for some reason, they just don't reveal it until you actually fly up to it.
Yeah. I will say, I'm terrified because the level jump. Like, if you look at the difficulty stars of the different worlds, this next one jumps up by 2 stars from Neverland.
Which, yeah, I was like, ugh. The other thing that does happen before you have to go there, the Hercules Cup has opened up.
Yeah. I went and tried it. Did you?
I did. I tried it a couple times and I got trolled pretty hard. Did you get to the mid boss fight?
Are you talking about Cloud?
Yes. Okay, cool. You did fight Cloud. Did you beat him?
Oh, hell no.
I beat him.
Oh, wow.
I finally beat him. It took me a couple tries. I only on my 3rd try, I was actually able to kind of figure him out. I beat him, and then immediately it puts you into another 4 rounds of combat. And I didn't make it through the second one because I was like, well, I'm out of potions, I'm out of elixirs, I'm out of ethers. Donald and Goofy are down because by the time you get done with the Cloud fight, they're both at pretty low health. I was just like, shit. And I got wrecked because I didn't have any magic. I didn't have any MP left to be able to bring them back. And I was like, I couldn't keep it up. And so I think like 2 rounds into after the Cloud fight, I got knocked out. And I was like, God damn it. And so, but I got to go back. But it's a fun cup, and I'm excited to finish it.
Yeah, thinking on it, that we do still have a lot of work to do on that world because that's the only Disney world that we haven't experienced the full story of. Now that I think about it, and that we haven't sealed the keyhole for. Well, there is one more world actually that we haven't sealed the keyhole for too, but we'll get there when we decide to get there.
When we decide. And then just to give you a heads up, there is an item you get after beating him that's pretty good.
Is it the Keyblade?
Yeah, it is the metal chocobo.
Yeah, not my style, but it is cool looking. I'll give you that.
I mean, it's a Buster Blade Keyblade. Yeah, the entire thing is it boosts attack power by like 6. It's something insane, but it has a lot of drawbacks for the amount of power it brings. And so it's one of those ones. Honestly, I wish I would have loved to have had that sword for the anti-Sora fight for the build that I was running.
Oh, that would have been cool.
I was like, damn, this was a world late for what I needed it for.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish this game had like a boss rush type thing, just to be able to replay certain bosses at will.
That would be awesome. That actually, I would really. Hey, Square Enix, I know you guys are listening to this.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
I need you to go back, take Kingdom Hearts 1. Don't quit worrying about this Kingdom Hearts 4 crap you have going on. And I need you to put a boss rush mode into Kingdom Hearts 1 for me and Kyle. Otherwise, we'll give you a bad review on Yelp. All right, there we go. The mood is set. That's on them now.
Absolutely. Yeah, the ball's in your court.
But yes, so you do get a new Keyblade. It's fun. It's a cool one. But yeah, other than that, I mean that's kind of it for this episode, I think. Huh? I mean, right, Kyle?
Yeah, that's the end on my notes. How are you feeling? Do you feel like you're ready to go to Hollow Bastion?
I think I'm going to take a couple more cracks at the Hercules Cup. Try to get a couple more levels in, maybe 2.
Okay. If I can make a recommendation of something to do that might be good, the synthesis. Like, just in a general sense, it's a good idea to do synthesis. But what I got this past week was a new ability from the synthesis. Like, they gave it to me for getting a certain number done. They gave me this ability called Encounter Plus.
What is that?
You know how, as you're walking around maps in the worlds, you walk from one map into the next map.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't moved enough maps, the Heartless won't respawn, right?
Yeah.
This makes it faster. So you can basically just defeat everything in a room, move to the next room, defeat everything in there, go back to the previous one, and you can just keep cycling.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I know they have the 0 XP ability, which I have no idea why that thing exists.
That's for people who want extra hard mode and want to literally play as Sora level 1 for the entire game.
No. Anyway.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that's insanity. But I'll have to check that out. No, I don't think I don't even think I've been given the option to try to synthesize that ability.
I think they just give it to you for free after, I want to say 15 or 18 or something like that. After a certain number of synthesis things that you've done, they give it to you for free. It's supposed to make finding ingredients easier because you can just, it's faster to get a particular map to respawn the enemies inside.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you get the Ars Arcanum ability?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is a MP hog, but I love it.
I mean, I've got 11, so it's not too big of a deal. But doesn't it deal physical damage?
It does.
Yeah, it's not my style.
So yeah, Ars Arcanum, it's a great physical ability, and it is a bit of an MP suck, which kind of blows. That was very beneficial for the cloud fight. I'll tell you that much.
Man, sometimes I wish I could try a different build, but like it's too late because of the choices that I made all the way at the beginning. I can't just go full physical at this point. I mean, it could a little bit, but it wouldn't be the same.
Honestly, I'm kind of jealous because I get to the point sometimes where I'm like, I wonder what a magic build would be like. And then I'm just like, I'm just going to keep whacking him with this hammer. But all right, dude. Well, I think this is a good way to wrap up the episode. Well, I guess next up, for everybody listening, we're actually going to take a little reprieve. We're going to hold off because Hollow Bastion is going to be a pretty long part of the game, and we don't want to break that up. Next episode, and Kyle, where are we going to go?
We're going to go to your favorite world. We've been saving it because I wanted to get it all done at once. I didn't want to be piecemealing it one at a time. We are going to the 100-acre wood.
The 100-acre wood. We're going to the Winnie the Pooh level. We're going to play all the mini games, and we're going to talk about our high scores. And I'm so excited about this.
Oh no, I have to be competitive. I wasn't ready to be competitive.
We absolutely have to be competitive.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have to be much, but you do have to tell me. Keep track. We'll double back and see how each of us did.
Yeah, I think this will be good. So the reason why we're able to do it now is because we finally got enough Dalmatians.
We did get enough Dalmatians, which apparently Pongo and Perdita were just holding part of Pooh's world captive until you got them enough puppies because they're sadistic little bastards.
Yeah, I don't feel as guilty about Captain Hook's footlocker anymore.
Right? It's like Hook was just holding puppies in a footlocker. He might have been feeding and watering them. Who knows? They were just like, we're going to hold this entire world hostage until you just get us enough of our puppies back.
Yeah, a little weird. Little weird
is definitely the way to say it. But anyway, all right. Into the 100-acre wood next. Kyle, thank you for jumping on, man.
Absolutely. It was good to talk to you, Mitch.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Laters.
Hey there, Kingdom Hearts fans. Thanks for listening to the episode. Dream Drop Long Distance is hosted by Mitchell Orsino and Kyle Bradshaw, and is produced by Kyle Bradshaw. Our theme music was written and recorded by Alex McLean.